This is Christian Gomez with the New American Magazine, and today's top headline is entitled, Utah Police Offer Smartphone App That Takes Photos and Sends Them to Police. And today we have with us the author of this article, Joe Wolverton. Thank you for joining us today on the program, Joe.
Thank you, Christian. I'm proud to be here.
So who exactly put out this app?
Well, the app was released by what's known as the Unified Police Department in Salt Lake City. It's what used to be the Sheriff's Department, but several years ago, at the building of a fusion center with the Federal Department of Homeland Security, the Sheriff's Department became the Unified Police Department, which became a corporation with the sheriff became the CEO, and officers became essentially business associates as part of their fusion with the Federal Department of Homeland Security. And the Unified Police Department, formerly known as the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Department, they put out the app.
So as if that wasn't scary alone, what does the app itself do, and how could it be, how do the police intend for this app to be used?
Well, according to their press release, the police intend for people to use this for two reasons. One, to help the police fight crime, and number two, to protect themselves from crime by uploading pictures of their personal property to the police servers so that if there's ever a burglary, the police have photographic evidence of your property that you claim was stolen.
Now, that sounds rather benign, but what are the potential implications of this app? How could it be used in manners that it's not intended for? What are some concerns here in terms of liberty?
Well, in terms of liberty, the concern obviously is that people would take photographs not of their own property, but of the property of their neighbors that they find disturbing. For example, if I own an AR-15 and I'm loading it into my truck to go target shooting or something, and my neighbor sees that and uploads a picture of me holding my AR-15, or heaven forbid I own a bump stock, which is now a machine gun, and my neighbor takes a picture of me holding that and uploads it to the police. All of that violates obviously my Fourth Amendment right, Second Amendment right, and rights protected by those amendments. And then there's the another aspect of it, which was brought to my attention, which is if I'm at a function in a neighborhood or at a neighbor's house or in the yard and see a neighbor who's spanking a child, for example, and I think spanking a child is child abuse, if I upload that video to the police, the next thing you know, CPS is at my door asking to do a welfare check on my children because they received an anonymous tip that I was abusing my child.
Well, so essentially this could be used to encourage citizens to sort of snitch on each other, especially if they have their own ulterior motives in here. This kind of smells like something you might expect out of the Soviet Union or one of the communist bloc nations. Do you have any thoughts about that?
I think that's exactly right. I think that in the era in which we live, where we are constantly under the never blinking eye of government, one way or another, that you have citizens essentially being convinced that what they are doing is patriotic, what they're doing is making their neighborhood safer by exposing these dangerous people, these people that could potentially pose a threat. It's the East German Stasi providing material benefit for people who would spy on their neighbors in the 50s and 60s in East Germany. And I think it's one of those things, if they can make you believe absurdities, they can make you commit atrocities.
This is a grave threat to liberty, and hopefully this won't be implemented in other cities. But have you heard about this app being used in other places besides Salt Lake area?
I haven't heard of the app itself. Well, with the exception, there was an article I did for the New American where in Florida they had a meeting, and the sheriff there was bragging about the potential for such an app. And I know Homeland Security for years has encouraged people to, see something, say something with a smartphone app for that purpose. So I can't imagine that it wouldn't be, particularly with the growth, the multiplication of fusion centers around the country, the offer of billions in federal funds to local police.
Now, I got another question for you. Now, we've heard about the Southern Poverty Law Center and their sort of intelligence reports where they virtually vilify anyone on the right as being a hate group. They vilify organizations like the Constitution Party, the John Birch Society, the family rights sort of organizations that exist out there, for example. Now, what are your thoughts about how leftists might use this app to sort of intimidate conservatives, Constitution Party members, libertarians, and others that are not exactly in the political mainstream, or at least not on the left, so to speak?
Well, it reminds me of the videos we all see of the Trump derangement syndrome, where someone's wearing a MAGA hat or a MAGA shirt, and next thing you know, he's being attacked in a restaurant. Uh, and this would allow people to be a bit more passive. That is to say, not confront the person that is disturbing them or heaven forbid, hurting their feelings in some way, and passively take video and pictures that they believe qualify this person as some sort of right wing threat to the government. And unfortunately, those sorts of accusations are taken all too serious. I remember I myself at a meeting once said that states had the authority to nullify the Supreme Court decision on gay marriage, and the newspaper in Salt Lake reported that I was a neo Confederate.
Wow. Anything to shoot down the right, right?
That's right.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you. This is all the time we have today on the program. We're glad you were able to join us. And we encourage all of you out there that are watching this video to go ahead to go to thenewamerican.com, find Joe Wolverton's article. Be sure to read it, like it, and share it with others. Also, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the New Americans YouTube channel. And of course, check us out on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you for joining us today, Joe.
Thank you, Christian. A pleasure.